I suggest we go in and start this particular little game of ours. As I said, the game is set in the 1980s, but it starts a little bit before that, and we will find out all about that in just a moment. All right, let's get this show on the road. You see what they want you to see. For all its darkness, the vile baseness of the world in which we live is nothing compared to the true world, the one behind the veil. Beyond lies not a world where the horrors make sense. It's not a place of vampires or zombies or even alien beasts. It's a place where your most incoherent, least humane thoughts are made flesh, become substance. The most incomprehensible, reprehensible thoughts that lurk in the further recesses of your mind belong here and run rampant in the streets. You know what I'm talking about. You've had those thoughts. Ones you keep to yourself when you divulge everything else, the ones you wouldn't even trust your closest friend, most loving family member, most dedicated spouse or love with. You know which one I'm talking about. You're thinking about it now. Say it. Speak it. Move your lips silently and mouth that most depraved, most nightmare-inducing thought or fantasy that you have. Share it with the world. The one that makes you shudder and hate yourself. And also the one you just can't seem to quit. The things you would do if only you were certain of getting away with it. That's it. That's it, good boy. You're thinking about it now, aren't you? How sweet and foul it tastes at the same time. How you want it, but how you hate yourself for it. Good girl. Mouth it again. Get comfortable with it. Because this is where it happens. In Metropolis, beyond the veil, this is where this thought you hoard so closely to your breast comes from. It belongs here, where such things just happen. And when you pierce the veil, when you finally see this place, it's too late. You already belong here. 1966. The local newspaper had the details first. Missing was young Sue O'Donnell, 13. The new constable, Ortiz, had been first on the scene. A tip. Later, jumbled memories would clear long enough to reveal that a local vagrant, H.B. Foster, had been seen lurking around Russell's old shed. Patrick Barnard would remember seeing him. Foster did not get convicted. An eyewitness had stepped forward to give him an alibi. But the town was never satisfied. And Sue O'Donnell was never found. Greg. You're in a room. You're not sure how you got there. You're wearing a black veil. You're sitting on a throne-like chair in the middle of this room. The floor is tile and there's a drain at the center. Around you, a dozen members of the cult are having sex. The air is heavy with the scent of drugs, unwashed bodies of sex. They move in an undulating mass of flesh around you, hands grabbing, mouths filled, bodies invaded. The sounds are grotesque. The drugs in your system are beginning to take hold. You sit unmoving as the other participants take turns servicing you, edging you, the sexual tension and hallucinogenic doing their work, opening up your mind, your vision shifting beyond the orgiastic scene around you and into some other place, across a veil of red. Then the sounds die down. You're alone, kneeling where you once sat. The room you were in is gone, and you're on top of a building somewhere. Around you is a vast, dark industrial city, garish red neon barely cutting through the dense black fog, the red glow giving the place an infernal tinge. You know what's coming. She's behind you. The Oracle is always behind you. So close. So close. You know what happens now. You turn. You see her. See her face. Know her for who she is, what she is. And then you wake up. Same as every time before, since that first time. But this doesn't end until you turn around, so you do. Only she's not there this time. Someone else is. Across the rooftop, ducking out around a wrought iron encased stone chimney and disappearing from view. A young girl, with a backpack covered in colorful flowers. You wake up in the dingy motel room. Voice lingers in your thoughts, the voice of a young girl you knew well. Don't forget about me, Greg. What do you do?
This has definitely been a dream that has been plaguing me as of recent. Coming out of the memories of the past, as well as this call that has beckoned me in this hellish landscape beyond. I try to ground myself in whatever I have around, reaching over to anything that I can grasp.
There's some remnants on the night table next to you. You were, of course, using the Gideon's Bible to get your little lines in order. There's some empty bottles. There's things moving among them, maybe cockroaches, little insect, things of that nature, but it doesn't really bother you. You reach around, scatter things. Most of it fall into the dirty carpet below you. Find something. There's a little pill. One of those little yellow ones that usually allow you to fade away for a little while.
I'm going to take it.
As you go to put it in your mouth, you hear tunk, tunk, tunk. As a knock comes to the door.
Who is it?
It's Morty, the guy from front desk.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, look, I'm not a messaging service dude. So like, if you could maybe like make an effort to pick up your phone once in a while, that'd be fucking fantastic. Some guy named Patrick called for you.
Okay, what did he say?
He said, answer your fucking phone, man. He's been looking everywhere for you. You should go see him at his club. He mumbled something about some girl named Sue or something. Or maybe it was a boy like in the song. Just answer your fucking phone, all right? And the rent's due tomorrow.
Sure.
Jesus Christ, I'll fucking call the cops on you. I can clear this place out, and you can hear mumbling as he walks away.
I imagine I've had enough run-ins with this individual to gauge how much I can push.
Yeah, pretty good. Like he's, he talks a big game, but at the end of the day, like he runs a motel where hustlers and prostitutes and drug dealers ply their trade. So he's not gonna call any cops or anything like that. He's just Morty.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine that I would actually want to sit on the phone and listen. Just try to sit there and pretend like I'm paying attention to anything that Patrick has to say over the phone. I need to see it face to face, especially if he's mentioning Sue.
So you pick yourself up, try to do as much of a little toilet as you can, licking your palm and trying to get that cowlick down. You take the pill before you go.
I'll say yes. Only because this is all becoming way too real, and when that happens, I need to be able to step away. So if Patrick has to deal with me being a little bit out of sorts, then that's his own fucking problem.
You take the pill, you're in the bathroom taking a leak. You hear the sound of someone laying down on the bed behind you, the springs on the dirty, falling apart mattress creaking under the weight of someone laying down.
Do I know that somebody was there with me? No, actually, it's probably... I will take a look.
You go into the room. You see something on the corner of your eye. Shadow moving. But there's no one on the bed.
I imagine that this is something I've seen before.
And that happens usually when it's been a little too long since you've self-medicated.
Yeah. I'll just look at it and probably try to continue doing what I'm doing. Waiting for my elixir to take hold and drive away these monsters that like to plague my vision.
A few moments later, as you're sitting on the bed and drugs start to take hold, you feel a sense of control returning to you, even as the world around you seems to slip a little bit away and become a little bit less tangible and a little bit less in your face. The colors become more muted, the sounds fade away. And as always, the last thing you hear is the sound of children playing in the playground and fading away. You eventually get the courage to get up, walk out of the room, start heading towards Dolly's Dolls, club owned by Patrick Barnard. Meanwhile, Jeanie, you're in a deserted park. I'm not sure how you got there. You're sitting on a park bench wrapped up in a blue plastic tarp. Around you, there are several dozen ravens that are pecking at the floor, cawing softly. The air is heavy with the scent of smoke, loam, decay. Distantly, you hear the sound of children playing, perhaps in a playground. You sit unmoving as the ravens begin to gather around you, climbing on you. You see bits of red meat in their mouths. And you can now smell the carcasses. At your feet, you can see that the mass of dark ravens has moved now to climb over you are corpses, naked, bloated, pecked at. You still move. To your horror, you realize they're moving because they're having sex with each other, corpses bleeding and rotting and fucking all around you. The ravens crawl all over you, swarming you, covering you entirely. Then the sound dies down. You're alone, kneeling where you once sat. The park, raven and bodies are gone. You're on top of a building somewhere. Around you is a vast, dark industrial city. Garish red neon barely cutting through the dense black fog, the red glow giving the place an infernal tinge. You don't know this place. You've never been here. It feels cold, dark, and alien, and looking upon it feels like a disobedience, like you're breaking some unwritten rule, seeing something you should. A hand falls on your shoulder from behind. You jump out of your skin, you turn. You see no one there. Except across the rooftop, ducking out around a wrought iron encased stone chimney and disappearing from you, a young girl with a backpack covered in colorful flowers. You wake up on the park bench. The morning is gray, cool, featureless. A few other homeless folk like you are stirring about. You hear, on the wind, a voice that says, "Don't forget about me, Jeanie." What do you do?
I'm going to take a moment just to breathe. Hoping I don't smell the decay, but I imagine greeted with still not pleasant smells.
It's definitely not, the Coco Chanel Emporium or whatever. The smells around you are a mixture of unwashed bodies, old wet leather, people cooking whatever they found or have on little gas stoves. Smell of wood and other things burning in barrels.
So it smells like home, if not a comforting home. It's at least familiar.
Exactly. It is familiar, and that alone, that realization alone, kind of carries its own feeling of sorrow.
Wait. Yes. Going to pat my person, make sure I still have my shoes, I still have my jacket, the few belongings I have to my person, checking my pockets for a few spare change. And I'm gonna look over, and probably what I was sleeping on almost as a pillow was some newspapers, old, but I take out a pen and pick up where I left off of circling interesting headlines. A typo in a column I circle and make a note of. I don't know what it means yet, but people don't just do that. And kind of probably even rip out one section and stuff it in a pocket where it's almost overfull of other articles that are damaged from various fluids and weather and everything else, but it's a comfort just to be able to do something I'm familiar with after that dream. Almost in spite of what the dream had said of don't forget her.
By the way, each of you has received a advantage, a hail from the chat.
Thank you.
As you contemplate this, Jenny, you hear, Hey, I know you. You're Patrick's friend, right?
Who's asking?
You look over and there's a car. You don't know cars. Could be anything, but it looks like, something that's not cheap, but not, like a nice little car. There's a woman you recognize. She has purple hair. She's got stars as earrings kind of dangling down. She's got purple lipstick. You recognize Lucy. Lucy's one of the dancers at Dolly's Dolls, and you also know that she's Patrick's current girlfriend.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm Patrick's friend. Jeanie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember you. Hey, he's been looking for you. He's been looking everywhere for you.
Been looking for me?
Yeah. He was going on about you.
What?
But he says that, he doesn't know where you are, and, he's kind of getting concerned about you.
Oh, I didn't mean to make him worry. I can stop in.
Yeah, would you mind? I think it would. I think it'd be good for him to see that you're all right. I mean, I'm going to be there tonight. If you want, I can come by and pick you up.
I can wait. I have stuff I need to do anyways. Very important stuff. So
Okay.
You wouldn't understand, but it's important.
Yeah, no, it's what Patrick says all the time. I don't understand anything apparently. But hey, anyways, come on by and give him a holler, right? He's pretty worried about you.
You can tell him I am in one piece and good. I'm good. Good. He doesn't need to worry. I'm good. And really emphasize how good I am.
She kind of looks at your surroundings and goes, "Yeah, I can see that. Hey, come here.
Pick up my newspapers and wander over.
She's like, any friend of Patrick's a friend of mine, and you can see that she's holding some money folded like between her fingers and is holding it just kind of over the edge of the window.
Oh, I'm not that kind of girl.
Come on, honey, take it. It's all right. It's dirty money, but I mean, when money isn't, right?
Recognizing it isn't transactional, immediately snag. Don't look at it. Don't identify it. It goes in the same pocket as the newspaper clippings.
She gets emptied. You're looking a little thin.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't need advice from you.
Oh, sure. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate the money, but if it's was this pity money?
No. It's cunt money. I got it by showing my cunt to some guy. So, like, you do what you want with it. Just go and see Patrick, all right? And have a nice day.
Yeah, whatever, Lucy, fuck you. Like, give the car a little tap, and turn to walk away.
She drives off. What are you going to do now?
I would love a warm black coffee. And that's going to be my first priority.
You will be able to get yourself a coffee. You have enough money. She slipped you a 10. So you have enough money to get coffee, something else you want.
Whatever the latest newspaper buy, like I'm going to a gas station, right, to get the coffee. I'm sure there is a stack of newspapers. Just grabbing one off the top. And immediately going to what I view as my work.
Sorry, say that again, please.
Going to what I view as work, which is finding literally the next bench I see and going to town on this newspaper.
No problem. What is it you're looking for in that newspaper?
I'm hoping for local news. I like to keep a close eye on obituaries. I keep a close eye on marriage announcements. I keep a close eye on anything like the big headlines and seeing what names I see repeated.
You've been experiencing something strange of late. It seems like, and maybe it's just a question of time moving on and whatnot, but you've been experiencing this weird thing where you don't recognize the names of people. Like there was a time where you would recognize, oh, this is, someone's uncle, or this is someone's cousin, or I went to school with this kid or whatever, but now increasingly it feels like you don't know these people, who's getting married, who just died, who just got a fucking promotion over at the hydro plant, whatever the situation is. The only names that crop up once in a while that you remember is Sheriff Ortiz. You'll also see once in a while an ad for the veterinary clinic where Meg O'Donnell works, but it just feels strange. It feels increasingly like you're in a town that you don't know and people you don't know. It feels very alienating.
That doesn't help in the sense of my research. That means I've probably been researching more and more each day and only getting lost in the ink that is the newspaper. I would pretty much do that until I felt like it's an appropriate time to go see Patrick, since it seemed like I should go later in the evening or later in the day. But I'll shoot away. That's the focus of going through the newspaper, pulling out the other ones, putting it back in the pocket, drinking the coffee, and just like on repeat loop.
Before you realize, it's gotten quite late. You stop, rub at your eyes. You realize that several hours have gone by, most of the day. In fact, you might have dozed off at some point. You see something strange ahead of you as you're kind of wiping your eyes. One of the people in the vagrant camp, in the homeless camp that you're in, you see this woman. You've never seen her before. She's kind of hunched over, and she's near this barrel that's on fire, and she's got like meats one of those skewer that's kind of ruined. But when she reaches out with her hand, it's like her arm is twice as long as it should normally be. Like, it seems to unfold like twice. And the skin on it's kind of green and gray, and she reaches down and grabs something that's in a bag and sort of pulls it back with this long, weird, kind of strange arm that kind of folds back on itself inside the sleeve of her coat and looks up at you, and you can't see anything. There's this, she's wearing like a bunch of scarves and this hood from an old hoodie that's kind of all ripped and whatnot, hanging low over her eyes, and she looks up and you can barely see the outline of a face inside the hood, and then you kind of blink and scrub at your eyes, and then it comes back and you recognize Martha, one of the more long-term folks here. She's waving at you and she's pointing at the food that she's grilling over the barrel fire. See if you want. Eating today, dear?
Of course, Martha. And then whoever's nearest me, like grabbing onto their arm and looking at them. Has Martha been weird lately?
More than usual?
More than usual.
No. I mean, I think we got her off of eating cats, so, progress.
She looks the same? You haven't seen any changes?
Well, I don't look too close at her. She's kind of a little frightening,
Keep an eye out. They're changing.
Yeah. Okay, and the aliens are coming. Sorry, Jeanie. We know. Cool.
Yes, they're coming. They have been here before. They will be here again. It's only a matter of time. And just short-circuiting a little bit.
Okay. Well, this person gets up. Have a good evening. And
bunkers. Look out for the bunkers. You'll be safe in the bunkers.
Yeah, and the chupacabras. I know. I'm definitely.
It's
I'm
called
on
Cheyenne.
the lookout.
Cheyenne, Wyoming. Go to Cheyenne, Wyoming. They have bunkers there.
Mm. Yeah, I got my private bunker here. I'm working on it right now. Bye. It kind of slips away. God damn it! Not only do I have to be homeless, but I have to be stuck in here with her.
I'm taking a breath, collecting myself, going towards Martha, and giving her some of the money from Lucy in exchange for food. Oh, you're so nice. You're always so nice. Here you go. And she takes out this really kind of dirty little knife from under her, this little apron that she's wearing, and she cuts off a slice of the meat and hands it over. It's kind of hard to identify, but it seems juicy and well cooked. It's food.
Yeah. What do you do eventually? Do you head out to the club, or?
Yeah. Not much else to do with my day. And someone is clearly missing me. That's very important for me to address.
Exactly. To lighten their worry load.
Yes.
Greg, you arrive at the club. You're standing outside. Club's dark right now. It opens really late. It opens at 10 at night. And it's kind of just after dark right now. There's some lights on, the top floor where the offices are and whatnot. There's some lights on. And there's a bouncer that's standing out front. What would you like to
do? I know that I was expected. I expect Patrick to be inside, so I'm just going to walk towards the front. And before the bouncer I don't even know if I've been here before, or maybe I haven't, I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to treat it exactly the same way as I usually do, which is to tell this particular individual that I'm expected, or say, Patrick called for me. I need to see him. Where is he?
Who the fuck are you?
Does it matter?
If I'm asking, it's because it matters.
My name is Greg. Patrick knows me for a very, very long time.
Does he know?
Yes.
Stay here. And he goes inside. You see him talking to the coat check girl, and coat check girl leans out and kind of looks at you and shakes her head and motions to her, and she grabs a phone and she brings it up on the desk, and he picks it up and he rotates dials, a couple numbers, and then he's talking. It's one of those big black ones with the cord and everything. He talks into it and he looks at you, and then he hangs up, puts it down, comes back, opens the door. Patrick says to sit at the bar, have yourself a drink on the house. He can come down and get you when he's got a moment.
Can you tell him that my time is extremely valuable?
No.
And I'll just, whatever, fine. And I'm just going and sit down and, I don't know, I'll get something to look.
One of the bartender comes over. Yeah, what can I get you, honey?
Beer, please.
All right. Reaches down, gets you a Miller Genuine Draft. Champagne and beer, she says.
That it is.
Have I seen you here before?
I doubt it.
You, here, why are you looking for work? What's the deal?
No, actually, I'd rather not really be here at all, but I'm here to talk to Patrick. He apparently wants to talk to me about something, and...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Look, I'll buzz him upstairs and see if he's ready for you. How about that?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, honey. She goes over and she grabs the phone. Jeanie, you turn a corner, walking down along the street. You arrive. You got the club in view. As you arrive, you see something you perhaps didn't expect. So you see Greg going in through the front door.
Maybe just the smallest deflate, thinking I was going to be alone with Patrick, and then just kind of pick myself up again and walk through the door. Been here before, probably fairly in recent history too, so not so worried about announcing myself. I just try to find my way to where I think Patrick's going to be.
You, I guess you're going through the front door. As you walk up, the bouncer goes, "Hey, haven't seen you here in a while."
Been busy, work.
Yeah, I hear that. You, speaking of work, you looking for work?
Depends on the work.
Well, we need someone to clean the poles.
You know what? The research lately has been really intense. I don't think I can really break away from that right now. I feel like I'm really close to making a breakthrough and learning something.
Oh, you're one of them intellectuals.
I'm an academic, yes.
Well, good for you. What can I do you for?
I'm here to see Patrick. He misses me, so I wanted to come in.
Jesus Christ. What is it? Family reunion night tonight? What's going on?
Something in the water. Which, there is something in the water. Be careful. They say it's fluoride, but just...
Yeah, everyone's going on now about fucking plastic bottled water, buying their Evian and shit. And I'm like, just some fucking dirtbag in Pittsburgh filling those bottles up in his bathtub,
Obviously. And, there's also the factories that the government has built to make the plastics and what's going into the plastics.
Oh, okay. You're odd, but you're crazy. All right. Okay. Good. Just get in there. That's fine. There's another fucking chump at the bar looking for Patrick too.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I'll see you around. Again, careful about the water.
Yeah. Right. I just drink gin. We're good.
Walking in such a way that keeping eye contact, kind of walking backwards for a little while before turning all the way fully to walk into the club.
You walk in, it's dark, it's quiet, very quiet. There's no one here. The only person that you see is your friend, or is he your friend? Greg, sitting at the bar, having a Miller Genuine Draft, the champagne and beer.
I'll go ahead and take a seat next to Greg. and sit down. Jacket's a little bit more dingy than the last time. Hair is a little less brushed out. Definitely the makeup is caked on from 2-3 weeks. Just the blue powder starting to freckle on the top of the cheek. As Greg, hey, good to see you. I missed you. Wow, what are the odds?
You're talking like we haven't seen each other somewhat recently. What are you here for this bullshit too?
Well, Patrick missed me, so...
Missed you.
That's what Lucy said.
Okay. When have you ever known Patrick to give a shit about either of us before this?
People can change.
I'm sure they can. I'll just take a drink and have to do a lot of fucking changing, wouldn't they?
Why are you here? No.
I know you're not the. I'm not the one you really wanted to see here, and that's okay. I know what we are. That's fine. Apparently, Patrick wants to talk to me about something. I imagine it's probably the same thing that he wants to talk to you about, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Same thing. I mean, I'm not opposed to like the three of us. That could be a fun addition, actually.
Yeah, Patrick's not really my type.
Oh. Well, beggars can't be choosers. What are you drinking?
Just hand it to her.
Take a sniff. Oh.
Yeah, champagne up here.
They said it was good. I'm kind of doubtful of that, but things are always good when you're on a little bit of a trip, so it's fine.
Oh, you're writing right now?
Whatever you know me to not be.
Did you bring anything to share?
I think that could be arranged.
And like,
Why don't I give you? I'll give you some of this now, and why don't you come by and see me later, and we can clean up some of your clothes, and I'll slide her whatever it is that I have. Probably something in pill form, because doing lines off of a bar while we're the only two people here is going to be a little bit conspicuous.
It's the bravery of someone who doesn't give a fuck. Don't even ask what it is. Take it. Take the beverage, the champagne appears. Back, and like a little shudder, and the distance immediately becomes much closer. The like shoulders kind of almost touching, just already a little bit cozier to you for the efforts.
Mm-hmm. It's very much something I assume that we've encountered before, so I think Greg just takes it in stride. Like, I guess we'll see what this is, won't we?
Yeah.
You been having those fucked up dreams again?
Yes. Okay, so you've been having them too. Have you been seeing her?
I'd rather not. Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. But like, it feels so real.
Usually does. And I'm maybe give you a little bit of a look of somebody who's a little bit too familiar with such things. Sometimes it can feel very real.
That means it has to be real. If it feels real, it has to be real.
That's what the other people told me. Of course, they're all fucking dead now, so I don't know how smart they fucking were.
Finding the truth is a really dangerous job that I don't think a lot of people give credit for.
Sure, but you can do it in a smart way or in a really fucking stupid way. I think going out to something and just waltzing through a door because you were invited doesn't seem like the best idea in the world. Fuck is Patrick.
As you mentioned that, you realize the bartender hasn't come back in some time. You don't see her anywhere. don't see anybody else in the club. There's nobody with you. It's just kind of dark and quiet and cavernous. You think you can hear some music coming from somewhere, like that kind of beat of like a regular kind of music, but it's kind of an echo that's coming from somewhere.
I'm sick of waiting. Let's go find him. He's our friend.
Sure. We can do that. I'm just gonna I don't know how much I finished of the bottle. Probably not enough, but just gonna leave it. And
you've gotten close to the bottom of it, but there's just the backwash left, basically.
Yeah, I can take care of that. I'm not gonna be a dick to the bartender. They were nice enough.
You start heading back. You know that the office is upstairs. There's a set of stairs that goes up kind of in the back. You go where the booths for the dancers are, and then sort of over there there's a set of stairs that goes up, and there's a landing from where Patrick will sometimes survey the bar and whatnot. You kind of double back on that and keep going up, and then there's a door that opens, and there's a short corridor, and there's a couple of rooms down here, and you know that Patrick's office is at the end of the hallway. You start walking down the hallway, and as you do, you're getting this weird sense that you're still feeling kind of the vibrations of the music, but now it's just vibration. It's no longer the actual music playing. There's light coming from Patrick's office. You don't hear any sounds coming from it, though. And the only light that's in this corridor, this long kind of dark corridor, is this light that's coming in at the other end where the door is kind of ajar, and there's a little bit of a slant of light that's coming in from there. You walk forward, and as you're stepping forward, and the flooring is is carpeted, and as you do, you step forward, and then you start hearing kind of like a wet sound every time you step. Kind of a squishy, wet sound.
You're going to be almost instinctual, grabbing your forearm, like don't lose track, grab onto, and look at you. Are you hearing this?
Yeah, I hear it too. Do you, and looking down, is there any discoloration to the carpet or anything else?
No, it's very dark, and the carpet is dark, so it's hard to kind of see what's going on, but you do feel, and it's not like you're stepping on a wet carpet, you feel like there's a sticky substance, like your feet are like having difficulty kind of lifting off of it.
I touch it.
You bend down, you touch it?
Yeah.
Remember that gross kids thing, slime? That's kind of what it feels like as you kind of put your fingers down into that thick shag carpeting, and it's just kind of like this sticky, gooey mess as your fingers kind of sink into it, and it's kind of cold. When you pull your fingers back up, you feel the, and then you kind of have like this weird sort of thick, viscous feeling liquid on your hands.
Can we offer to make a roll in this scenario?
Sure.
I would like to try to see through the illusion.
All right. Go for it.
That is going to be a 21.
You sort of do the thing you were taught to do in the cult that you were in for so many days, for so many years. This training thing that they had you do to be able to sort of try to see through to the other side, as they called it. You focus on your breathing, and you literally force yourself to kind of see askew, kind of see beyond what's in front of you. You imagine the world as you see it to be an image, a 2D image printed in front of you, and you literally kind of try to see behind it. As you do, the walls of this hallway become really old, dingy. The wallpaper has been torn off. There are holes in the wall. You can see drips of dark liquid down along the sides of it. The carpet itself is this writhing mass of gelatinous matter. It looks almost like if you were to melt a person, this is what it would look like. If a person was melted like a candle, this is sort of what it would sort of look like. And it's kind of like just moving along almost as if you're inside an esophagus or something. You know, that's kind of what it looks like. The door at the other end is still open, and you can sense something in there. Not something that's waiting for you or anything like that. You just sense that there's something wrong in the room ahead of you. I'm going to ask you to give me a keep it together roll.
Sure. Um, 17.
All right. As you see the world shift in front of you, you manage to kind of keep a hold of your own sort of sanity. You maybe reach out and take Jenny's hand or something. I don't know. You can decide that for yourself, but you find a way to kind of ground yourself. And one thing that you've been taught is that, you know, sometimes the things you see are not really exactly that early. So you find a way to reason what you're seeing to a certain degree, like, and to not sort of totally lose it. But Jenny, you certainly feel Alex kind of change as you see him kind of, hyper focus ahead a little bit, and then he'll take like a deep breath, and you can see him kind of visibly trying to kind of keep control of himself.
Going to try to hold on harder. What did you see?
I am very much I believe that probably the way that Greg is going to ground himself here is probably something that was taught to him by the cult, which is a feeling of person. So probably I will grab Jeanie by around the back by the waist and push them up against my body. It is a move that would look intimate to the outsider, but as far as Greg is concerned, it is the feeling at multiple points of his body of some other being there, something physical that he can feel pulse, can feel warmth. It's more of a thing of use than affection, but he doesn't actually say any of that. He just says, let's just make it to the other end.
I'm going to give your chest, put hand over heart, try and give you that additional contact there. Yeah, okay. We got this. You got this.
Yeah, it's fine. And I'm sure I am trying to make this seem as affectionate and caring as I possibly can. Greg is very, very good at doing that. And I will just walk forward with you, and almost looking like, the kids at the kids getting the milkshake at the outside of the drive-in theater, or outside of the drive-in and all that stuff. And normally you would see the two of them looking at each other and happy, and one of them just chatting with their friends while they're in this close sort of pseudo embrace. And it may certainly look like that, but in Greg's mind, it's traversing this hallway of flesh and just decay and ugh.
The end of the hallway, as you approach the office, you step up to the door, and as you kind of push it open, you can see that the inside of the office where you are again appears to be almost as if made of flesh. The walls, the floors, and this is, I'm sorry, let me go back a second. I'm going to describe what Jenny sees first. Jenny, as you step through the door opens to the office, you see Patrick's desk. He is lying on his back on the desk, kind of his back arched, his legs kind of on the floor, his arms splayed out on either side. You can clearly see what looks like blood on his shirt. There's a radio behind him that is playing that music you were hearing earlier. The room itself is cast into a bit of a strange, eerie red glow because the one lime that's in the place, that's laying in place, which is on his desk, part of it has been splashed with blood. So there's kind of one side of it that's still giving that kind of warmish, yellowish light that the light bulb would give, but then the other side is kind of casting this red glow over everything. Greg, as you enter, you see the room again seems to be made entirely of kind of this fleshy substance. The floors, the walls, the ceiling, almost as if it's a giant cavernous mouth. You see at the center of it there's this weird sort of almost kind of like an S&M cross, but it's made of bone. And you see Patrick splayed out on it, his arms out, pierced in the hands by two spurs of bones, and he's lying in his shirt is open, and you can see that he has been eviscerated. His chest is entirely cut open from stem to stern, and all the bits that have kind of dripped out of it, or the ropey intestines, everything are kind of wrapped around his legs and hanging down onto the floor. The thing that fucks you up is that he is still breathing.
If I see that he's still breathing, I'm going to try to go over there and, yeah, pretty much immediately, like, Patrick, are you okay?
As you come reaching for him, he looks up. Jeanie, you don't see any of this. You just see Greg running towards Patrick, who's lying on the desk. You come up, you go, are you okay? And his head comes up. And in a voice that's completely not Patrick, but it's a voice that you've heard before, the voice of the Oracle, the voice that you've heard in your... says, I finally found you. And then his head lolls back. Jeanie, you don't see any of this. You just see you just see Greg running over to Patrick, trying to talk to him, and Patrick's not moving. He's obviously very dead.
Don't touch him. Get away. No. Greg, we have to leave.
Did you hear him fucking say that?
No, I didn't hear shit. What did he fucking say? Wait, he shouldn't say anything. He's dead.
I would like to use my enhanced awareness to try and get a little bit of because Patrick clearly had something that I wanted to discuss with him. So
go for it.
All right. So that's plus soul. 17.
All right, 17. You sort of let your awareness sort of open up. You take in the entire thing instead of just focusing on the one thing that's obviously there that's drawing your attention, which is Patrick's body. You kind of take in the room as a whole. You stop focusing on the tree and you start looking at the forest, basically. Jeanie, you see this weird thing where Greg kind of stands up, opens his eyes, and starts turning slowly on himself. It's creeping you out a little bit because he's acting kind of strange. There's a dead body there. You can see that Patrick is dead. There's blood on his shirt, but there's no apparent wound. The shirt's not damaged. There's no knives. There's nothing. You just see a lot of blood staining his shirt where he's laying back. You, Greg, sort of turn around on yourself, take in the room, and you see a couple of things that stand out that are weird in this sort of room of flesh with bones sticking out of it. There's a little, kind of like a little table you would have in the living room or something, and there's an answering machine on it, one of those old-fashioned tape answering machines, and the red light's blinking on it. That's kind of standing out to you. That's there in the room. And as you kind of continue turning around, you see sticking out of the inside jacket pocket of Patrick, wrapped up in all this viscera that's just kind of draped over it, is what appears to be a letter that is poking out from under his jacket. And as your awareness reaches out, you're getting the sense that these things are incongruous and shouldn't be there, and are kind of sticking out because they're not meant to be there.
Okay. I'm just gonna look at Jeanie and be like, all right, listen to me. I need you to grab the answering machine, and I'm already rifling into Patrick's jacket for this letter. We are going to walk out of here quietly and casually and we are going to go back to my motel room, okay? If we scream, if we do any of that shit, you know they're going to come right in here. And I'm sorry, but I don't think we're worth enough for them to actually give a shit about trying to hurt us.
Yeah, no, of course. And going to go to grab the machine, trying to talk over top of you of, this is just another frame job. This is something else they're trying to pin on us. They tried to do it before, they're going to do it again. This is just another option. This is another way they're trying to go about it. And more probably speaking out loud than necessarily to you, but the rambling is kind of building and getting louder.
Yeah. Listen, we're never going to find out who the hell framed us if we don't do this quickly and quietly, okay? We can discuss that in a minute, please. I'm trying to get this letter out of Patrick's pocket.
You're putting your fingers through it like you have to move, all the viscera and all the coils of intestine. You kind of moving all of that. Give me another keep it together roll while you're doing that.
Sure.
Alex, Jeanie, you're going towards the answering machine?
Yes.
Okay.
I rolled a 13.
All
Lucky.
right. You lose a stability.
Okay.
But I'm not going to take a hold on you at this point. You manage to pull the letter out, and it's just dripping with gore and blood, sort of as you do. On the front of it, you can see it's written Patrick Barnard on it. Jeanie, you get to the machine. When you get there, you see that there's a bloody fingerprint on the play button.
Greg, someone was here already?
Great. We don't have time right now. Please, I'm trying to hold it together while I'm getting this. Is the gore clearly visible to Jeanie?
No, she doesn't see any of that. You're like,
okay.
You're holding the letter like this, but it's totally fine, pristine, kind of white.
Yeah, you see me acting like I've just dove my hands into just like a bunch of jello or something and just trying to shake it off so it doesn't stain whatever's inside. Clearly it's just fine, but being like, listen, we can deal with that in a minute. Just grab it and we can get out of here.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. And just gonna reach over and get basically out of the wall. To tuck it under arm.
Reach out, you grab it, pull it out. It pops right out. You've got it. What do you do?
Not even trying to hide it, just underarm. Look over to Greg with your letter. Back to the hotel.
Yeah. Is there a way out of here? It's not the front door.
Yeah, you know that there's down the corridor. There's like an exit that leads out to the back stairs.
All right. Yeah, we're just gonna start walking that way casually at first until we know it's clear, and then probably booking it. You
start walking out. You walk out of the office. You're heading for the exit there. Just as you reach in, the exit sign is kind of written, large and red, glowing in this darkness. You hear clunk, and the office door behind you closes.
I didn't do that.
I think. Do I see anything with?
No, you look over. The door's closed. When you look at it, it feels like you can see something moving, but that's that frosted glass that's kind of like wavy. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like colors and kind of shape moving behind it.
Let's chalk that up to fuck that shit and let's go. We can. Yep. I'm sure whatever answers we need are going to be right on these.
Yes.
You rush down the stairs. As you run down the landing, the second you step off the stairs and get on the landing, music super loud, club music going on, whatever they're playing in strip clubs in the 80s. Probably some Madonna tracks or something like that. Like a virgin, hey, kind of blasting. You can hear people laughing, cheering, jeering. The club is going full tilt. You push through the exit door. There's a couple of guys out back that are doing cocaine off of one of them's holding up, a pack of cigarettes or something, and they've got like lines, and you kind of jostle them. It's like, hey man, there's Potter here, fuck! And you step out, and you can see that it's dark outside, it's full on night, the club's going, the parking lot's full.
Does Greg have a car?
No, I walked. So, yeah.
We're hoofing it.
Yeah, we're just gonna start walking.
You start walking. Takes a little while to get back to the hotel, maybe like 20-25 minutes of walking. As you do, you're kind of trying to process everything that you saw and all that kind of, but actually that Greg, you saw all the weirdness. Jeanie, you just saw Greg be weird. You don't say much on the way back because, what are you going to say? Like, it was just so weird and so strange, and there's no answers to be had. Do you open the letter on the road, or do you wait to do all that once you get to the motel?
No, I've ventured enough beyond what I perceive as reality to want to open this in the middle of the street and invite whatever's waiting for us.
You get back to your motel. It's night, so the fauna's out in full. There's cars coming and going in the parking lot. The hustlers and prostitutes are lined up. The pimps are making the rounds. The drug dealers are plying their trade. There's people coming and going. It's a pretty busy kind of little spot at this time of night. You get into your hotel room. You close the door behind you. You pull down the blinds. Smells like shit. Jeanie, this place is messed up. I totally assume that if not in this one, you've been in other similar hotel rooms with Greg before. You've, had sex in these places. There's always it's always filthy. There's always fucking whatever drugs he's got at hand lying around, empty balls, boxes of pizza, all that stuff. This is exactly the same. A couple of articles of clothing kind of on the floor, and that pervasive smell that is, that smell of Doritos feet that's just in all these hotel rooms throughout the world. You find your way and close the door, lock it. For a moment it's kind of quiet. You can hear people outside, but you feel a certain measure of safety. Door's locked. You sit down on the bed.
Okay. Right, nobody followed us, right?
I don't know. Did somebody follow you?
Yeah, I was asking Jeanie.
I don't think so. I wasn't.
So you're more aware of that shit than I am. Was anybody out there?
I guess that's, to be fair, she probably would have been keeping
Okay.
an eye out.
You want to go ahead and give me a investigate roll?
Absolutely.
Roll plus reason.
Okay, we can do math. I promise. That is going to be a crisp 14.
A crisp 14. So you may ask me one question. However, the information is going to come at a cost. And I'm going to say that the cost is this. You can ask me a question and I'll give you the answer, but the cost is that you were acting very suspiciously outside, and a lot of the people who are here don't like people they don't know who are acting kind of suspicious, so someone's going to have noticed you.
I think that's fair, because I don't think she would have been very subtle. A lot of looking over the shoulder, twitch, react kind of stuff. No, was definitely wanting to make sure that there wasn't anyone was following us. No trailing cop cars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, was there anyone following us?
No.
Yeah. So
okay.
Nothing stood out. They weren't following us.
Okay.
What did you see?
I think we should find out what this stuff is first before we do. It might be prevalent. Let's do the answering machine first. And I'm holding up the letter. This one feels like it's probably more personal.
Okay. Do you want me to hold that for you? You're acting like it's Radioactive.
Please, I'm just going to like I'm handing you a dirty diaper, basically. Like, just...
Immediately goes into the pocket full of newspaper clippings.
Okay, and I'm just gonna hook up the answering machine, and does it work?
It does.
Sick. I'm gonna hit play.
You hit play on the answering machine, and you get that first message. And there's only one message on the answering machine. You hear crackling, kind of like an old record would sound when you would play it. Then you hear a voice, and the voice sounds like it's coming from far away, kind of like you hear something like a voice on the telephone, like, someone will make that effect kind of thing. So it sounds kind of like that, like even more the fact that, it's on the answering machine, it kind of sounds also like it's kind of far away. And you both freak out a little bit because the voice you hear is the voice of Sue O'Donnell. I'm going to ask both of you to do a keep it together roll.
Uh, 19.
You're holding firm.
You're muted, Jeanie.
I was mumbling about rules, so it's okay. I learned it's 19.
Okay. Sue's voice comes through. And I want to specify that it sounds like Sue's voice as a 13-year-old, the voice that you remember. Patrick, I need help. I need you to come find me. Please. This place, Please help me. Backpack. You have to find it. You have to find her backpack.
I feel like I would just give a very knowing look to Jeanie of like, that was Sue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd recognize that anywhere.
Have you been seeing her lately? Not just the person in the veil thing. Have you been seeing her?
Yeah. I have.
Let's see what the letter says.
Fish in pockets. Handful of newspapers come out. I have to stuff them back in. Open the envelope.
Before you open the envelope, you see Patrick's name written on the end, on the front, Patrick Barnard. That's your handwriting, Sue. Not Sue, sorry. Jenny.
I don't recall writing this. Going to continue to open it.
Inside, you see a Polaroid picture. And it's a face of a very frightened Sue, looking right into camera, her hair in her face, 13 years old.
What is it?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You
Go
can
ahead.
kind of make out the background a little bit behind her. And both of you would realize that it's Russell's old shed. The Polaroid looks pretty new.
I was going to say, based off background, does it look like it was taken recently?
The inside of the shed looked like it used to, but the picture itself looks like it, it's fresh and crisp and fairly new.
Looking from it, to you, back to it.
Yeah, what is it?
And then holding it close to my chest. It's soup.
Okay, like, expound, please.
Like looking back at it and just worried about showing it to you as you've clearly seen it a lot tonight. It's how we remember her, but this Polaroid, it's new, it's taken recently. It feels new. It feels, and passing it to you face down to give you the option to see it, but keeping my fingers on it too, just in case. Let me pull it back.
Preemptively, Greg is going to sit down next to Jeanie, or I will sit down next to Jeanie and like try to get close to you. Again, it's mostly for grounding, but you know, it seems like more. I'm going to hold the Polaroid, looking at it, and be like, "That's the shed, isn't it?"
Yeah, that's the shed. How does this? It can't.
Have you been back there recently?
No, I haven't. I make it around town, but I don't go back there.
I think I'm shocked I'm saying this. I think whatever, that was her fucking voice, wasn't it?
Whose voices could it have been?
I don't know. It's been so long since I've heard her or seen her, but like even hearing it through an answering machine, I instinctively knew.
But why did it sound so far away?
I'm reluctant to tell you of my visions, basically. I think they're dreams. I think she might be in the same place that I saw before, that I used to be made to see. I don't know, though. I think we need to go, just for, if nothing else, and for a fucking answer. I think we need to go back and figure out what's going on. I think we need to go back to the shed.
Craig, it's not going to change anything.
Maybe it doesn't. But what if it does? You want to live every fucking day with this?
Whatever happened to her, they hid so well. They hid so well. They tried to pin it on Foster.
And what if it's been long enough that they got lazy? You know this yourself, that they don't hide everything forever, right? Obviously, I don't believe anything you've said before, but I'm trying to coax you. Yeah. Be like, you know yourself that it's been long enough. Who the hell's going to remember? We've seen her.
And it's real.
I don't know if it is, but maybe this will be an answer of it. Maybe we'll get there and it'll be fake and it'll be the close of this chapter and we can go on about our lives and we can go back to what we were going to do tonight of fucking taking pills and losing ourselves and each other. But I think what we need to do right now is we need to go and find out what's going on with this. And plus, after what we saw tonight, I think it's better that we're not somewhere that we've been seen before.
At least not in 15 odd years.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm scared.
It always is. It always is scary, Jeanie. That means it's worth doing, isn't it?
There's been this dangerous work. Yeah.
You said it yourself before.
Okay.
I've been scared so much of my fucking life. It's become like a blanket to me. Maybe this is one less thing to not be scared of anymore. Or maybe we actually help her. And maybe these years haven't been for nothing.
You look at my face and there is the saddest little smile listening to you. Okay, Greg. Let's go to the shed.
Okay. How far away are we?
It'll take you about 45 minutes or so to get to the
walking?
shed.
Or
yeah, you'll walk a bit through the city. You'll go cut through the school, then through the playground, and eventually you'll find your way down into the little area where Russell's old shed is. And all of this will happen after we take a little break. Hello, everybody. Whoa, what was that?
I just didn't realize we were live, and I was goofing. Don't mind me.
That's okay. I really should have said we're going live in 3, 2, but I thought me saying okay, we're going live was
you were so fine. That's entirely on me. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We can be goofy, you know. Horror has to be contrasted with a little bit of more lighthearted things, lighthearted humor. I'll start making dad jokes here in a sec. Thank you so much for sticking around with us, being back here with us. We are playing Cult Divinity Lost, a little game called Playgrounds Fading. I wrote it is about these 2 players and these 2 people and a couple of other of their friends who, when they were kids, something happened. We don't quite know yet what it was, what was happening, but one of their friends named Sue disappeared when they were young somehow, and apparently the matter is unresolved, and since then these 2 people have carried a lot of trauma dealing with it, and their lives have sort of spiraled out of control because of it. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, the whole 9 yards, being homeless and eating rat meat served by Martha for the little fire. And you have these 2 characters, or two characters have found one of their friends from that era, Patrick, who has been killed, and Patrick had in possession a recording on a message recording on phone, on the answering machine, of Sue's voice asking for help, and a Polaroid that, while it shows Sue as a 13-year-old, was apparently recently taken. So they've decided, upon hearing Sue's message, to return to Russell's old shed, the shed where whatever happened that is kind of blocked out of memories happened in 1966, to try and kind of get to the bottom of this. In the meantime, Greg especially has been seeing all sorts of weird things, including rooms that look like they're made of flesh, and etc. So things are kind of getting a little weird. The 2 of you are now off across the city. It takes about 45 minutes for you to walk over to where the shed is. You first cross most of the city, then eventually cross the school, the high school, football field, and a little further back behind that, you come to the playground where, on that fateful day, 1966, you and Sue and Patrick were playing when something happened. You're not quite sure exactly what it was, but something happened that drew you apparently to Russell's old shed, and the events of what occurred there are locked out of your memory, but you were rescued by a police officer named Ortiz, and Sue was never found. There was no signs of violence, there was no blood, there was nothing. You yourselves were not injured or had not been touched or attacked or assaulted in any way, shape, or form. You just had no memory of what had happened. The one thing you do remember that's kind of been haunting you is you seem to remember there was somebody else there. And the only memory you have of this person, this other young girl, is a backpack that was that had colorful flowers on it. And now that I've fixed my images, I can actually go ahead and show you what that image, that backpack, looks like. And apparently I can't. Why is it still showing?
Because she's the real star of the show. We don't know it.
Maybe. All right, I'll try to figure it out while we're doing something.
Sure.
This is not working to my liking. In any case, as you approach the playground where all of this happened, you've been back here, I'm certain, on occasion. Oh, I know what happened. Yeah, I know what happened. I'll try to fix it after. You've been back here on occasion before, and every time you come here, you kind of hope or think maybe something will unlock. There will be a memory that will come back. There will be something that will occur to you. You'll remember something. And every time you come here, you're disappointed because nothing ever does. The playground itself is empty. It's dark. It's middle of the night. Kind of fallen in disrepair in the years since you've been here. The rides are looking older, damaged by weather, abandoned by the children. The little rocking horses on springs are kind of hanging, kind of almost on the side. That old spinny thing is all rusted and kind of falling apart. You stand there again looking at all of this and nothing shakes. Nothing seems to come back to you.
Anything, Greg?
I think now that we've gotten a little bit more information, I'm probably looking with a little bit more information. I would like to use enhanced awareness to try and see if I can piece anything out.
Go for it.
That would be a 13.
And you are using, sorry, get back to me. What were you using?
Enhanced awareness. So with 10 to 14, I get a basic impression of the surroundings.
And no downsides to it?
Let me check that for you.
That's awareness. 10 to 14 basic impression. Just as usually 10 to 14, there's a little
yeah, it
fuck
says
yourself.
You get some basic impression regarding the location. That's all it says. If you want to put a go fuck yourself in there, go for it. I am completely happy with that.
That's okay. I've managed to find the right picture, so you can see the picture there. You look upon it as you have not done before. Now you are looking with, slightly more eyes that see differently. Okay. As you gaze upon the playground, you start hearing the sound of children playing. Kind of grows a little bit louder, and all of a sudden you kind of get the feeling it's almost like you're in the middle of a summer day. Kids playing, laughing, someone screaming at somebody else. As you're hearing all of that, it becomes fainter, and it's replaced by a grinding, rusty kind of sound. You look up and you see the merry-go-round thing, and I don't remember exactly what those things are called, but they're not a merry-go-round, but you know what I'm talking about, that spinny platform thing. Anyone in chat knows what that's called? Fill me out. You look up, Greg, and you can see that it's moving slowly. And as you look at it, you see Patrick and Sue sitting on it. It's revolving slowly, and then you can see Patrick looking away you can see Sue looking at Patrick, and for the first time you realize that she's looking at Patrick in a very kind of interesting way, in that she's looking at him very kind of starry-eyed, and kind of almost get the feeling like she's maybe like getting a crush on him or something like that. He's not looking at her at all. He's looking off a little bit to the side. When you look over to the right, you see another young girl approaching, a little older than the rest of you. She's wearing this highly colorful jacket, and she's got a backpack on her shoulder. She's got long orangish hair and round glasses. Immediately, even though this is someone who's maybe 15 or 16, you feel that there's an attraction that you have to this person. And it's not like you right now are looking at this 15, 16-year-old and feeling roused. It's really that you feel that at some point in time, you were attracted to her, or you had a crush on her. And it feels like something very long ago. Very, very long ago.
And I think while staring at that and not breaking eye contact from it, I am just going to speak aloud, basically speak my thoughts aloud of, Jeanie, do you remember that day? Do you remember the girl with the orange hair?
Do I?
Give me a hold on, give me a second. Working on it. It'll eventually happen. Eventually gonna happen.
Take your time.
Yeah. Give me a soul roll. So give me a seeing through the illusion roll.
Okay. Whee! I can do math. 16.
As Greg looks at you and asks this question, you look over his shoulder and you see this slightly older girl than you were back then approaching. Orange hair, glasses, backpack. You recall seeing her in that dream you had earlier tonight. That backpack that you saw on that rooftop was her. And as you're looking and seeing this, and it's one of those things where like it looks like a superimposed image as she's walking towards, like you can see that it's the playground as you see it now at night with like, you know, the darkness and everything, but then she's kind of walking almost like in a ghostly form towards the spinning middle merry-go-round thing where Patrick and Sue are sitting. And as you see that, something comes back to you. And the name Corrine comes into your mind. I'm gonna need you to do me a keep it together roll.
Woohoo. Oh no.
Oh no.
7. That's good, right?
You see this happening, you see this girl. The name pops into your mind. Greg, you see Jenny's eyes go wide. She's got that look, you know, when someone suddenly remembers something like, oh shit, I left the oven on kind of thing, right? And she's got that look of like near panic. And as Jenny, as the name seeps into your mind, you suddenly remember something. You see a bottle spinning on the ground. You see it spinning, and it stops. And the back end of it's pointing at you, and the front end of it's pointing at this girl who's sitting there. And she looks at you and smiles. And you suddenly feel this strange sense that kind of rips through you of a sudden sort of surge of sexual arousal, but very, very quickly sort of tamp down. This is wrong. This is not right. This shouldn't be happening. I can't do this. This is so wrong. This is so wrong. And this sudden fear that you're going to be found out, you're going to be caught. Someone's going to know. Someone's going to know that you did this. Someone's going to talk. Someone's going to say it. People are going to make fun of you. They're going to laugh at you at school. They're going to talk about how Jeanie kissed a girl. It's going to be the end of the world. And as you're feeling all this, you're 13 years old, and all of this is shooting through your mind. All this is going through your mind. You're going to be made a pariah. You're going to be made the laughing stock of the place. Greg, you're watching Jeanie slowly, as if she's watching a film in her own mind, and you can see all these emotions going on her face. And you've seen this before. You've seen this, Greg, in cultists back in the day when you were part of that cult, who just couldn't handle it, who saw something that was just like fracturing their minds, that was just messing with it. You realize that Jeanie is about to break right the fuck apart right here in this moment. What do you want to do?
I'm going to come over and do basically what I was taught, which is I will take Jeannie's hands in each of mine and turn so her palms are up, using my thumb to gently massage the inside of the palms and saying, hey, everything is okay. You are here. Everything is fine.
No, it's not. It's not. They're gonna find out. They're gonna find out. I didn't want to do it. I said no. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to kiss her. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. And like just saying that, but I think it slows down as you start to put the pressure in.
Jeanie, you lose 2 stability.
Do I though? I have endured trauma. You're not as easily affected by trauma as others. I reduce it by 1.
Okay, so you have 1. You lose 1 stability. The feeling lingers with you. You come back to yourself. You see Greg standing in front of you. You hear his voice. You kind of follow it. But that lingering feeling of they're gonna know. They're gonna know. They're gonna point their fingers. They're gonna laugh. It's gonna be kind of lingers. And I don't know, Alex. I don't know, Jeanie, if you ever in your life suddenly remembered some really embarrassing moment from your childhood, and it just comes washing over you, and you feel your cheeks get red, and you feel that acute embarrassment as if it had just happened. That's exactly what Jeanie feels right now.
Once the rambling stops, I think that's probably the biggest thing. She stops talking. As you do, just see her face. My face turn bright red and eyes wide, looking a million miles away and almost pulling back instinctively and clearly trying to process this in a way without having to explain her feelings.
What did you remember?
Do you remember Corinne?
I think with the realization, I would kind of wash over me a little bit, remembering the name. Yeah. Yes, I do. She was there that day, wasn't she?
Yes. We played spin the bottle with her.
Yeah. I think I remember that too.
Yeah. The ball landed on her, and the rules you're supposed to kiss whoever's on the other side, and I didn't want to. I didn't want others to find out, because if people find out, people always find out. There's something to hide, people find out, and I didn't want people to know. I don't want people to know. And the rambles start to pick up again.
And Jeanie, that was a long time ago. Nobody remembers that. We barely even remember what happened that night. Or day, excuse me.
But I do remember.
What do you remember?
That. As long as one person remembers, it's real.
Where is this shed in conjunction with where we are?
It's not far. You just have to go down through a little wooded area and then down into near where like there's a little creek, and then you would jump across that, and on the other side of it, there's a shed. It used to be the groundskeeper shed of the area, but in the early, around the time of this, a little bit early before this incident happened, the groundskeeper, Russell, had died, and they just never replaced him, and the place just kind of stayed empty, and kids would go there to drink and smoke weed and whatnot, and it kind of just became like this weird little hangout for the older kids of the area. You certainly, as 13 years old, would not have normally have gone there. Like, it was a place that was known to be a place for the high schoolers. Yeah.
Okay. Kareen, the message in the answering machine told us to find the bag, didn't it?
Yes. She had that. She had something. Flowers? Do you think it's here?
I mean, wouldn't it have to be? Why else would they know about it?
Okay, we find the bag. Newfound mission totally takes over. And I think Jean's going to try her best to lead the charge on this, of trying to look for it in places that people would hide it, right? As if it did just happen yesterday and not 15 years ago. Trying to look in bushes, trying to wherever she thinks someone would try to hide it.
You start looking around, scouring the entire area. You can do an investigate.
Yes, thank you. Oh, no, that's okay. That's better than I thought it was going to be. It's 14 on the dice, plus my reason, which I believe is 2, so 16.
So you go through the entire place. You don't find the backpack, but you find several used condoms. You find a couple needles. You find some empty beer bottles. But as you're going through this area, you know the telltale signs of a place where homeless people will sort of gather, and you can kind of recognize some of the signs here that there's someone who's been living here, probably like spending their nights here and whatnot, and you kind of get the feeling that you spooked them and they kind of took off quickly when the two of you came running here. But you get the sense that there's somebody else around that was hiding out here or sleeping here just before you came in.
My bad. Whoops. Greg, someone was sleeping here. I don't want to go through their stuff. Not the most fun feeling in the world to have your stuff rifled through. They might have just been crashing here for the night.
Might, sure, but we need to be sure. I'm fine with respecting their space. You know, that's all good. Just grab a stick or something, and we'll go through and see if we can find anything. Actually, I'll probably just go grab the stick and start walking that way, trying to keep my head a little bit aware, since I assume somebody could be around.
You start walking down towards where the shed is. As you walk through it, you start getting strange images, strange flashes, Greg. You see Corinne walking in front of you, kind of leading you. You see her bag, you see her hair. She kind of looks over her shoulder a little bit, and you just see the side of her face. Glasses. Walking, leading you, clearly like taking you somewhere. You see coming into view ahead of you Russell's old shed, and Russell's old shed back then had this kind of mythical quality to it, because it was this place where the older kids hung out, and it was kind of a little scary and a little daunting, and like you kind of everyone waited to become old enough to be invited to go to Russell's old shed. So it has that very kind of mythical quality, like I was saying. And you remember that day approaching it and feeling like something momentous was happening, you were getting to go to Russell's old shed. You were too young, but you were getting to go there. So it's kind of like that feeling of, you know, your dad getting you into like a, you know, an NC-17 horror film when you're 13 or something like that. You know, we're about to see something that's going to change your life, and you know you shouldn't be there, kind of thing. So you really clearly kind of feel that feeling as you are walking down towards the shed. Now you see the shed. You remember feeling that way. You remember it looking like it was, like, you know, 3 floors high, really, really big, with like this big balcony in front, and it looked more like a, you know, like some rich dude's hunting chalet than it did like a shed. But now that you're approaching it, it's very old, run down, saggy. It's super small. You can clearly tell there's maybe 1-2 rooms maximum. The porch has kind of collapsed in. The roof of the porch is like this, and the porch itself is all rotten out. The windows are broken. Some of them have been boarded up. There's grass and all sorts of weeds growing through the cracks of it. You can hear somewhere in the distance like an owl hooting, and it's just this dark, desolate place. And it's almost kind of a letdown, because again, you may have come back here, you may not, but this place would always have been this kind of mythological place, this bigger than life place, and now it's just this shitty old fucking shed. Jeanie, as you were approaching it now, you don't quite remember how you felt that day. You were kind of just following along as you usually did, but as you approach the shed now tonight, that feeling that you had earlier, that feeling of shame, of something wrong kind of happening, resurfaces, and kind of starts riding your skin a little bit. You start feeling flush, you start feeling that embarrassment again, and you realize now that what you're feeling right now is different than what you remember. You remember feeling embarrassment at fearing to be caught doing something you're not supposed to do. Now it feels different. Now it feels like you're ashamed of yourself for not doing it. You're ashamed of yourself for not taking the experience, enjoying it, doing what would have made you cool, what, you know, somebody else would have done. Kind of in retrospect now, you kind of regret it, and that feeling kind of jostles with that other feeling that's inside of you, and it's kind of like that war between the two of them, and you're kind of conflicted a little bit. I would like both of you to make think through the illusion rolls, and these will kind of, the rolls you get now will kind of last for a little while as we go through and dictates or what. So if you want to spend, each of you has 2 advantages that you got from Hales. So if you want to spend one right now to try and get as good a roll as possible, it might be a good idea.
Damn, but I already got a pretty good roll.
And then
I mean, it's an 18.
That's good. So keep
right. Right. I'll keep it.
And
I used one of the advantages. I got a 15.
Okay, excellent. As you approach the place, you get a bit of a sense of dread and foreboding from it. And the sense of foreboding you're getting and dread is not coming from, oh, we're about to see some fucked up shit. It's more insidious than that. The fear that you have right now, the sense of dread that you're experiencing, is because now you're afraid that you're about to find out something that is going to completely invalidate everything you've been through since, or it's going to kind of, like, you feel that you are the way you are and you're living the lives that you're living, and you've had horrible, difficult lives. You're both suffering from trauma. You're both living in kind of dire straits and bad, you know, you're not living really, really good lives. And you kind of get the feeling that you're about to discover something that's going to say, it's your fault that you're like this. and not what happened to you. Like you're about to lose your excuse for living the way that you do. If that makes any sense. And you can't explain why you feel that. In that moment, something else happens. You feel an incredible kinship. You feel incredibly close to each other. You've been intimate with each other before. You've had fights. You've been friends. You've been lovers. You've kind of gone through the gamut. But in this moment, both of you feel extremely close to one another. And you find yourselves, without having done anything, holding hands really, really tightly. You really feel like you're the only two people in the world right now who kind of, this is the only other person who knows exactly what you're going through, feels the same thing that you do, and who's in the same situation as you, and nobody else is there. And you feel that excessive sense of closeness.
I even have a kind of buildup of tears. This is a large amount of emotions to be feeling kind of all at once, between the shame and the fear of finding out this was possibly my fault, that I could have stopped this at any point, losing the excuse, thinking about times with each other from being 13 onwards, the high school, the adulthood, the intimate times, the fun times, the scary times, and just looking at you, not loudly sobbing, but just tears starting to stream down my cheek.
I think given the similar feelings, I would reach up and kind of thumb away a couple of them. I'm just telling you, like, it's okay. We're here together. We've got this. It's okay.
Thank you for everything.
Same to you. I don't know what we're about to do, but I'm glad that you were a part of it. Well, part of all of it, really.
Yeah. It's like I want to start to say, like, it's going to be okay, and like the words choke, and coming back from it and try to speak again. It's just this soft squeak, deciding to give up on speaking at all and just squeezing your hand, hoping that gets the message across.
I'd likely have said it was okay mostly for you and not for myself, but I will return the squeeze with one of my own and just kind of give you a knowing nod or something that I understand. Like, I know what we're about to do is probably insanely stupid, but at least we're doing it together.
No one else I'd rather do it with.
What do you do?
Walk forward.
You step forward. The first foot you put on the porch creaks. Very ominous. Step up onto it. You can see that the door in front of you is kind of half hanging off its hinges. It's blocking the way, but it's, like one hinge is gone and kind of you a little bit. You can see a flicker of light. There's a light on inside, maybe like a flame of some sort, because it seems to be flickering and dancing, and it's kind of got that amber glow to it. Step up to the door. Grab it. push it out of the way. Step inside. The entire cabin is empty. You remember pools. You remember maps of the area. You remember ropes, pulleys, bags of dirt, planters, all sorts of things like that in this shed. Right now, it's completely empty, except for this sort of fairly ornate candle holder that's hanging from the ceiling. It's got this big black candle in the middle of it, and it's lit and it's casting a light over the entire thing. In the middle of the room, this empty room, the floor cracked, old, the wood rotten through, weeds, plants kind of pushing through it. You see a backpack with colorful flowers on it, sitting right there in the middle of the room.
You see that too, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. We go forward together. Okay. I'm going to grab your hand and move towards the bag.
You move forward. As you approach the bag, both of you hear and whisper as if someone's standing right between the two of you. The whispered word, Voland.
I would like this to be a good opportunity to use my haunted disadvantage.
Right you are, what's that do?
Haunted says that you are haunted by a supernatural force. With the GM's assistance, determine the nature of what you believe it is haunting you. And then you roll +0 to see if it gains any sort of power over you.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I rolled a 16, so the entity will leave me alone.
You feel a momentary chill up your spine, as you've experienced before, as you experienced earlier today when the bed had creaked in a hotel where you were supposedly alone. You are fairly certain that this word was not whispered by this entity that's been following you.
I am going to go ahead and move forward to grab the bag.
You reach out with your hand. You grab the bag. As your hand grabs it, you see the room. You see Patrick and Sue and Corrine, yourself, Greg. You see Corrine put a bottle, an empty bottle of Wiser's, down on the ground between you. And she says, "This is what they do here." And she spins the bottle. And as it's spinning and spinning around, slowing down, about to stop, Patrick reaches out and grabs it, stops it, and picks it up. And goes, "That's not what they do here. They smoke weed here." And she says, "Yeah, but what do you think they do after they smoke weed?" You can see that Patrick is kind of trying to act tough, as he always does, but you can see that he's feeling a lot less certain than you expect. That he, like he doesn't seem as much on top of things as he normally would. Says, well, unless you're chicken. Like, I'm anything but chicken. This is what you want to do? Stupid game? Like, it's not stupid. It's really a lot of fun, and I think that once you try it, you're gonna love it. And he says, fine, whatever. Puts the bottle back down. Marine reaches out, spins it. It spins around, spins around, spins around. Stops. Pointing at Sue. Sue looks like a deer in headlights. Says, what do we do now? And you can see Patrick sniggering. And Corinne says, well, now we kiss. Sue says, what? Says, yeah, it's not gonna hurt. And before Sue can really do anything, Corinne has reached forward and given her a little peck on the lips. Nothing too out of Sue. And then she pulls back, and Sue's kind of staring wide-eyed, looks at the two of you. Patrick reaches out and grabs it. Jeanie, you look at him, and he gives you a wink. And he spins it like super half-ass lazy, like it's not even gonna do a full turn, and it's gonna land right on you. Except it doesn't stop. Continues to spin really, really, really. Like it should stop, like this thing is barely moving. But then it ends up pointing at Corinne. And Corinne's like, Darling Creepshow! Thank you so much for the raid. Darling Creepshow with the raid. Thank you so much. Come in. We're just getting into the weeds here. Our cult game, it is, again, it comes with a very hefty warning for mature audience, but since you just came from Darling Creepshow's channel, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Thanks, Creep, for coming in with your friends. Our characters here are just remembering something that occurred to them, that happened to them when they were 13 years old, and are discovering what some of their missing memories are. They're in a shed somewhere with a bunch of kids, including an older girl who has them playing Spin the Bottle. That's what you do at Russell's little shed. Corinne smiles and says, well, and Patrick looks at you with a bit deflated, Jeanie, and then says, well, rules are rules, I guess, and he leans in and they kiss, and this time it's a little bit longer and a little bit more intense than the kiss she shared with Sue. Corinne looks at you and says, your turn. You reach out, you grab the bottle, you spin it. The bottle spins and spins and spins, spins. Jeanie, you're sitting in the middle of the floor holding the bag. Greg, you saw her reach for the bag and then kind of, as if she had vertigo, kind of drop down on her ass holding the bag.
Sorry. What is it? What did you see?
I saw the game again. The bottle, it kept spinning. Spinning and spinning. Like it was rigged somehow. I'm not sure how you could do that. She always won.
Did she look the same?
The hair, yeah, glasses.
Is there a bottle in the room with us?
As you mentioned, Dad, you look over and sitting right next to where the bag was. You couldn't have missed it earlier. But it's there right now, an empty bottle of Wisers. Sitting on its side. The light from the candle is refracting through it, and it's throwing these weird sort of multicolored little waves on the ground next to it.
Where did you leave off? Jeanie?
I had just spun the bottle. It landed on her.
That's as far as you got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to reach out for the bag.
You grab the bag. As you do, you're holding the bottle. You spin it. It spins around and stops on Corinne. And she leans in and looks at you. Quite pretty. Very attractive. Her lips are big and voluptuous and red, and you're like, for a moment, you see something different. You see a older woman, luscious red lips, her face kind of hidden in shadows. Beautiful. You've never seen her before, but she says with a very throaty adult woman voice, "Kiss me, Greg. You know you want to."
Is this a face I've seen before?
It's hard to tell because the other face you've seen is always behind a black veil, but you get the sense that
And if I don't?
someone has to.
Look over at Jeanie. One of us has to.
One of you has.
Okay. I'm going to lean in, but at the same time try to grab something on Jeanie in case something happens to me. But yes, I will lean in to return.
You lean in, he kisses you. It sends this thrill running through you, and the closest thing you can imagine or remember feeling it like was the first time you got really high. I mean, that first time you tried heroin, that high that you've been chasing since then. That's what it feels like. It goes through your entire body. Jeanie, you're standing next to Greg. You see him leaning forward. You don't see anybody else there. He's leaning forward. You can see an erection in his pants. You can see he's sweating. You can see his body shaking. You've been with him in intimate circumstances. You can tell when he's about to climax, and you feel that he's about to actually have an orgasm right here, right now, just leaning in midair in front of you. You do anything?
Yeah, actually, I think I think so. The recurring theme has always been to try to ground. It's the first time he hasn't tried to ground, so I'm going to do my best to do so and push myself up next to him, try to grab his hand. Maybe not stop him leaning, but at least just try to make sure that he knows there's someone there.
You grab him, Greg. Just as the kiss finishes, the woman fades away. You can feel Jeannie's closeness to your embrace. You feel your orgasm rip through you. You feel the wetness spread down into your pants. Jeanie, you feel him shake. You've seen him come before. You know that's exactly what's happening, but it's really intense, and he's shaking, and he can't help it. And you think you hear from somewhere kind of a laughing voice, but it disappears really quickly. Greg, you fall down on the ground. You're shaken with the intensity of this orgasm you just had. You see Corinne, as a 16-year-old, grab the bottle and spin it. You see it land on Jeanie. You see Jeanie back away. You see that same look you saw in her face a little earlier at the playground. Her cheeks turn red. Her neck turns red. You feel this shame too, Greg. You're watching her and you feel the exact same thing that she's feeling. And she says, no, 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 no. And Corinne looks at her and says, the bottle's a contract, Jen. Someone has to pay. You won't do it. And she puts the bottle in front of Jeanie. You have to pick someone who will. You see Jeanie, the fear in her eyes, the fear of getting recognized as being seen, people knowing what she's done. She reaches out for the bottle, she takes it, she spins it. The bottle spins and spins and spins and stops on Sue. You're sitting in the cabin. Jeanie, you're holding Greg. Greg, you're coming down from this intense orgasm that you had. There's just you, the backpack, exactly where it was before you started grabbing it. The candle light that's falling on top of it, doing this little circle around you. All around outside is complete darkness.
I imagine I have some idea of what happened to me. Sid, wait, where did she go?
Who?
There was a woman here just a second ago.
No, there wasn't, Greg.
No, she had the bottle. I'm like trying to adjust myself. It's like, did I really come? Was that real?
As real as I've ever seen it. What did you see?
It was green, but it wasn't. It was something else. Something saying about the bottle being some sort of contract. I saw you spin, and then it landed on Sue. Do you remember any of that?
Is this starting to come back to me as well?
Now you know where your sense of shame came. It wasn't fear of being thought of as a girl who kissed a girl. It wasn't shame born of being responsible for your own state of mind. It was the shame of having not had the courage to do what you needed to do. And in doing so, of having caused what happened. Of having been the hand that fate used to choose the one out of your group who would be taking that.
It's my fault. We found the truth and it's my fault. We came here and it's my fault.
What do you mean it's your fault?
I didn't kiss her. It's someone.
So what?
Sue took my place. I had it. It's her fault.
Did she take her?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not your fault. Was that the first time we'd seen Crane? Or the last time?
I don't remember seeing her since.
What you remember is you'd never seen her before or after, and that even when you started mentioning it at first, there was no one named Kareen. There's no other kid named Kareen, and you stopped talking about it at some point just because for some even.
Given what I have been through with my past, seeing these different illusions, the means in which I have seen them, is there any familiarity with any of what I have witnessed?
I would say that there's no direct familiarity, but your experiences have been that the entities that live on the other side of the veil often claim people from this side, and sometimes it's individuals, sometimes it's full groups, sometimes it's entire nation, but that there is some kind of need that they have when someone becomes too aware of them, but also sometimes just out of personal desire or need.
We have to get her back.
Yeah. I don't know where she is.
You say that, and both of you again notice the backpack sitting there, and in the glow of light, right where it was before you picked it up, like you haven't even touched it.
And the outside's dark, pitch black, unnaturally so. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We moved the bag, didn't we? Jeanie?
Yeah. I grabbed it. What about it?
I need you to stay here. I'm gonna go walk towards a window or something so I can look out.
When you look outside, you see that the cabin is sitting atop what looks like a high-rise building. The city around it is dark. There are vast smokestacks that are belching fumes into the sky. The sky is this dark red color. The city below feels dirty, dead, and alive at the same time. There's these tall spires up in the distance. You see buildings with no windows. You see windows with strange things peering out of them. You see buildings made entirely out of stained glass. The images in the stained glass oppressive and grotesque and unexplainable. You see things moving in the alleys below. You recognize that you are on the rooftop from your vision earlier tonight.
I would like to roll a keep it together, because not only is it my vision, I'm going to say this is, for a very long time, Greg convinced himself that that these things weren't real. Through these rituals, through these experiences, through these visions, it wasn't real. But an 11 says that it sounds pretty fucking real.
That realization comes crashing down on you, and that fear you had earlier of you didn't have to be this way. You could have changed at any time. Evaporates. You know that there's something out there that does this, and the feeling of relief that you get at "it's not my fault" slowly replaced by the dread of whose fault is it?
Just gonna start panicking. Like, It wasn't supposed to actually be here. There wasn't supposed to be. This was just a bunch of crazy people in a fucking house. It's just... It wasn't supposed to be real.
I'm about to be so unhelpful because that train of thought is something I'm familiar with. I'm going to approach and take your hands. Keep talking. I'm listening.
I'm gesturing out the window. Like, I've seen this place before. For years, they had me strapped into a fucking chair. Just endlessly, day after day. Just more X, more Quaaludes, more anything that they could get a hold of. And just feeding me these people one after another, like it was some sort of buffet or something, just endlessly. And through all of that, this fucking place was in there. And I saw her in this fucking place just last night. It may not be our faults, but there's something there. There's something out there that has brought her in. And I didn't want this to be... I thought we were just going to come here, maybe find some answers. I didn't think that this was going to be like this.
I believe you. But we're here. And like, I haven't taken a full look out the window yet. Just fully believing what you're saying. We are here. We need to save Sue.
Yeah.
And
But
we're
what
here
if it
together.
But what if it costs one of us?
It won't. And just the biggest lying face possible. It won't. We'll get out together. We'll have Sue. And we can start over. No one needs to know what happened. It's going to be okay.
Okay. Is there actually a way out of this building?
The windows are there.
Mm-hmm.
As you're contemplating that, I do... You can do what you want with this, but I do want to remind you that the message on answering machine, the message from Sue that defined the button, it's still sitting there, kind of just staring at you.
Oh, I misinterpreted. I thought it was like a portal. All right.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. And I'm going to grab Jeannie's hand and reach for the bag and try to look inside.
You pick up the bag, you open it up. As you open it, you see a tangled mess of red in there, but then as you open it up further, you can see a doll. And you reach in, you pull it out, and you see that it's a Raggedy Ann doll. And as you pull it out, you can see there's something else in the bag. When you reach in and pull that out, you see a Raggedy Andy doll.
I'm going to grab the Raggedy Ann with familiarity. I gave this to her.
You did?
Yeah. Because remember, Sue's family didn't have a lot when she first came here.
Yeah. I also gave her a Raggedy Ann doll.
And so they were in the bag. What condition are they in?
Old. Used.
Has she been here this whole time with these?
Is she here now? Somehow?
I mean, she has to be, right? These look like they've been used. Jeanie, what if she's been here this whole time?
Okay, but now we have the bag and we have the dolls. What?
Is there anything else in this bag?
No.
I think we take the bag and we try and find her.
Okay. Can I see the doll? The Raggedy Ann?
No. Yeah, I'll hand them.
Does it look like the one I gave her?
Yeah, exactly the same.
I take it back. I can keep it in the crook of my arm, playing with the hair a little bit. I don't know where she could be. I don't know how we could find her. And like just trying to piece it together as like fussing with the yarn hair.
You hear a sound outside. The creaking. The boards on the porch. You hear... That's a me. Oh, damn.
And kind of step in front of Jeanie. It's like, hello?
Yeah. You decent in there? I'm coming in.
Who are you?
The door opens and you see this shambling figure, this old bent-over man wearing rags, a dirty long jacket, cut-off gloves, smelling like fucking hell. Hey, kids. How you doing?
Do I recognize him?
This is in fact H.B. Foster, the vagrant who had been accused of taking Stu back in the day. You remember that while most of the people in the town still think that he probably had something to do with it, at the last minute there had been a eyewitness that had put him somewhere else and that had gotten him off. How you guys doing? Nice to see you again. Yeah.
You staying well?
Oh, hey, Jenny. It's been a while.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
What I always do. Oh, came to get you. Oh, God. Fuck. I feel like a warmed over bag of shit.
What do you mean come to get us?
Well, that's what I do. What I did that time. What I'm doing now. Damn you. All in here. You about ready to go?
For who?
Not just to get you back.
Back to where?
Home. That's what I did that day. Took you back home. Y'all had fallen here through the cracks into this place. Not a place for young kids like you. It is a bad place. People like me here. So I picked you up and I brought you out of here, but then I guess y'all went and got the wrong idea and you told them cops that I'd done something to y'all when I'd just been trying to help you. I even called the cops to tell them where to find you. Jesus Christ, talk about ingrate little fucking bastards. Man, that town treated me like shit for years after that. There's me, well, fucking trying to help you guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna look over at Jeanie. Do we look like adults still?
Yeah.
Okay. There were... Let's see. How many of us were there when you came to get us last time?
Let's see. There was, there's you, and there was that boy, Patrick.
What about a little girl?
Yeah, that's what I said. You and that boy, Patrick.
But, okay, good jokes aside, what about Sue? You remember, you saw us, you know us by name, obviously. What about Sue?
Yeah, she was here.
And? What
Well,
happened to her?
I don't think you should be asking questions like that. I think you should just follow me so we can get out of here before someone realizes that we're here.
No, we came here for answers.
Yeah, it's not an option this time.
You don't want the kind of answers this place has to offer.
I don't think you get to decide that. I think we're asking, so we should know. We can't go back and not know.
You know where she is, don't you?
Yeah.
Will you take us to her?
Don't need to. You're already here.
Where is she?
I'm here. And when you hear that voice, you turn around, and sitting behind you where the bag was, you see a woman about your age. Looks a lot like Sue. She's sitting there. She's got scars on her body. Most of them seem to have healed, but she's got a lot of them. She's wearing a tank top and loose pants, and she's sitting there, her knees pulled up, her arms wrapped around her knees, her head down. Well, now you've gone and done it. You're gonna regret this.
I've had enough in my life that I've regretted in Foster. I don't think this is one of those occasions. And I'm going to turn over to Sue. Like, are you okay?
It's a quick rush over, trying to give her a hug.
She doesn't respond too much. She puts up her head and she's like, you came.
Yeah, we did. Kind of.
Where's Patrick?
Next. He couldn't be here.
Side eye at that.
He told us to come find you, though.
Find me.
Yeah, to bring you back.
I missed you.
I missed you too.
Both of you.
Missed you. Did you not leave him a message, Sue?
No. I couldn't. This place is bad.
gonna take you home, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go. I don't think she wants me to go.
Kareen,
Yeah.
where is she?
Oh, somewhere near. But she's not gonna come here. Not worth her time. I want to thank you
For what?
for helping me all these years. No. I always knew you were real. I would tell people. My friend Greg, my friend Jeanie, they were like, "You're crazy, Sue. You're crazy." And just voices in your head.
But you saw us.
Yeah, of course. Saw you and I talked to you. And we played together. You
Do I
always like
remember
playing
that?
with my... You don't. You, in fact, thinking about it, I don't remember a lot before the incident. There are flashes of your parents, your dad, salesman, your mom, secretary and stay-at-home mom. But before the day of the incident, there's almost nothing.
And that specifically with Sue, you said, right? Or with Kareen. I'm sorry.
Sorry, say that again. Explain that to me, please.
Oh, it's okay. You're talking about my interactions with Sue prior to the events. Okay.
You, in fact, don't remember much of anything prior to the event.
What do you mean that people said we were voices?
The doctors, they always said you weren't real. They always said that you were other people living in my head, but I knew you were real. And they gave me those pills, and I couldn't talk to you for a while. And that doctor said it was for my own good, but I said I wanted to see my friends. I wanted to talk to them. They were so good to me, and said that it wasn't good because it meant that I was sick, that my brain was not working the way it should, and that if I took the pills, I'd be able to think like a normal person. But I missed you.
Sue, you said that there was somebody who wouldn't want you to leave. Do you remember what they looked like?
They look like a lot of things. Hey, Dorktales, thank you so much for the raid. We are in the final minutes here of this game. Please, it's a very dark cult game, so please take that in mind. If you choose to hang out with us, we thank you so much for raiding. We appreciate you. She looks like different things, usually like a beautiful woman, blonde. Sometimes she wears a veil. He tells me that I make up these stories about you. Yeah.
Sue, I'm going to need you to do me a favor, which is we are going to take you home. But I need you to trust us. Remember all those wonderful times that we had together and everything that we shared. And just trust us. Can you do that?
Of course, you're my two best friends.
That's right, we are. And I'm going to try and grab her wrist gently.
And as you grab her, HB says, "Yeah, sorry, kid, it doesn't work that way."
What do you mean?
They're not going to let her out of here if they think she's still crazy.
Why would they think she's crazy?
Because he is you and Jeanie and a couple of others. She's made a lot of progress, I hear. This place they got her in is not the best place. It's kind of like a little bit in our world and a little bit in their world, but they've been doing their tests and I guess they're satisfied, but they're not going to let her go unless she's cured.
How do I show that she's cured?
Can't go with her.
You mean one of us has to stay?
I mean, both of you have to stay. She gets out of here and she still thinks that she's Greg Stammets or Jeanie once in a while. She's not Sue O'Donnell. They're going to put her right back in here.
I see.
She's the one that's real. But they don't think she's cured. They're not going to let her go.
I see. So I need you to wait here for a second, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna take Jeanie off to the side. With like, you get what she's saying then, or what both of them are saying then.
Yeah.
I think I really only see one option. I've lived enough of a life to be okay with whatever this holds.
It's a shame we were so selfish with ours. But she deserves a chance.
Yeah. That she does. Talk to HP again.
Yeah, I think I got ticks, man. It's fucking itching some fucking furious right here in my armpit. Jesus. Ugh.
So, you can take her back, but both of us need to stay. Is that right?
Yeah. You can't go out there still thinking she's different people at different times. You know, they don't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's great to be different people. You know, I think it'd be great to take a vacation for myself once in a while and be somebody else, maybe someone who's got their shit together a bit more, you know? But they say, you think you're a lot of different people, you're crazy, so you gotta be put away. And they put you on all sorts of fucking drugs, and then, you know, yeah, you're killing those people. Who's to say that you're not the real Sue O'Donnell? Who's to say that you're not the real? Who knows how these things work? I'm just saying that it would be great to be different, but they don't like that.
Will she be safe?
They've heard in here. See what they done to her? They put those things on her, giving her shocks. Like they burned her skin everywhere. Look at those scars. They're getting like an electromagnetic whatever fucking therapy. They call it therapy, electronic therapy. Like they give you science therapy. They're fucking crazy. Back in the day, they used to cure cocaine addiction with fucking heroin. That's how smart they were. We haven't really gotten much further ahead than that.
Well, I mean, government agencies had a play in that, but I don't think that necessarily matters anymore.
Yeah. Want to start talking about fucking Agent Orange?
Kind of, but...
Look, I come and go as I want around here, so if you stay here, I'll come back and I'll talk about Agent Orange. How about that?
Promise?
Yeah, of course. I've always liked you, Jeanie. You've always been pretty cool for someone's third personality.
I'm only the third? Wow.
Yeah, my understanding is that he popped out first.
Smack your chest.
Okay. I think it's settled then. I think we're staying.
I'm sorry to hear that for you, but hey, who knows? Maybe, maybe someday things will change out there and they'll be a bit more accommodating to people who are different, and I'll get to come back here and get you.
Maybe. Then I've seen enough of that world out there.
Yeah. Now I know my breath about them getting fucking more enlightened about shit either. I'm pretty sure we're in straight from the fucking dark ages. Let me tell you, the places here that I've seen are dark and horrible, and I think we're eventually gonna be right back here. But, what am I? Just a bum? What do I know? You ready to go, girl? And Sue gets up and she goes, well, does that mean I won't get to talk to you again?
We're so boring, Sue.
Yeah.
You won't even notice.
No, you're my best friends. And she comes over and she hugs both of you and pulls you close.
And we'll still be your best friends. And what I want you to do is I want you to take these two, holding the Raggedy Ann and Andy. I want you to take all of those happy memories, all of those good things, and you put them into these two. And you take these two with you, and you lead the best life you possibly can. And whenever you're sad, whenever you miss us, whenever there's anything that scares you, just remember that you have us with you.
Grabs the two dolls. Looking at them, she says, I always knew you were my best friends.
We are.
All right, come on, girlie. They'll be okay. Sue looks at you one more time. Thank you for coming for me. HB comes over and takes her hand and says, it'll be all right. And maybe I get to come and see you soon. Come on. And he leads her out. She is about to head out the door. She looks over her shoulder at you again and he smiles. And for a second you see 13-year-old Sue. She smiles at you holding her Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy doll. They're gone. You're alone in the cabin. Candle burning low.
Well, are you ready to face whatever this is then?
Yeah. I think it's a long time coming.
Yeah. Venture to say it can't be much worse. But at least we'll get to take the good parts with us.
Want to play spin the bottle again?
Sure.
You reach for the bottle, grab it, put it on the floor. You give it a spin. Somewhere, Dr. Brian Hollander is signing discharge papers. For Sue O'Donnell, her sister Meg is there to pick her up. Are you feeling better? You feeling better? And Sue, clutching a Raggedy Andy doll, says, I don't know yet. I guess we'll know eventually. And Meg takes her sister Sue's hand, lays her out. The hospital. And somewhere up above in Metropolis, the bottle is still spinning. And with that, my friends, we end the playgrounds fading